In a remote village nestled between dark, dense forests, there was an old house known to locals as the Whispering Manor. The house had been abandoned for decades, but villagers would occasionally hear strange, unsettling sounds coming from within. Whispers, footsteps, and the occasional thud, though no one ever dared to investigate. One autumn evening, a young journalist named Claire, seeking to make a name for herself, arrived in the village with the intention of uncovering the truth behind the eerie rumours. Armed with a flashlight, a camera, and a notepad, she ventured towards the Whispering Manor, determined to document whatever was causing the disturbances. As Claire approached the house, a chilling wind seemed to beckon her inside. The old wooden door creaked open with a groan, and she stepped into the dimly lit foyer. The air inside was thick with dust and the smell of mildew. Shadows danced across the walls as she moved, her flashlight casting eerie shapes. Claire began her exploration, taking careful notes and photos. Each room she entered was more unsettling than the last, broken furniture, peeling wallpaper, and strange symbols scrawled on the walls. It was clear that the house had not only been abandoned, but had also suffered from some form of dark activity. As the night deepened, Claire's flashlight flickered, casting erratic beams of light. In one particularly dark corner of the living room, she noticed an old, ornate mirror covered with a dusty sheet. Driven by curiosity, she pulled the sheet away, revealing the mirror's tarnished surface. Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted. Claire's breath became visible in the icy air. The whispers began, a soft, sibilant sound, like multiple voices conversing in hushed tones. Her heart raced as she tried to locate the source of the whispers, but all she saw were her own wide-eyed reflection and the flickering shadows behind her. The whispers grew louder, forming indistinct phrases that made Claire's skin crawl. "Turn around," they seemed to say. "We're waiting." With a growing sense of dread, Claire slowly turned around, her flashlight illuminating nothing but the empty room. But as she turned back to the mirror, she gasped. The reflection in the mirror was not her own. Instead, it showed a scene from the past. The room, as it might have looked decades ago, filled with ghostly figures, pale, gaunt faces staring back at her with hollow eyes. Her breath quickened, and she stumbled backward, but the whispers grew louder, almost as if they were coming from inside her head. In the mirror's reflection, one figure stepped forward. A man in old-fashioned clothing, his face twisted in an expression of rage and sorrow. He reached out toward the mirror's surface, his fingers seeming to stretch toward Claire. Panicked, Claire dashed toward the exit, but the house seemed to shift around her. Hallways lengthened, doors vanished, and every time she thought she was near the front door, she found herself back in the same room. Finally, in a frenzied state, Claire found a window and forced it open. She tumbled outside, breathless and trembling. The whispering stopped as she ran into the night, the cold air burning her cheeks. The next morning, Claire's camera and notepad were found in the manor, but she was nowhere to be seen. The villagers searched the area, but she had vanished without a trace. The Whispering Manor was sealed off, and no one dared to go near it again. As the years passed, the stories of Claire's disappearance became a part of the village's lore. Some say that on certain nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear her desperate whispers mingling with the voices in the manor, forever trapped in the echoes of the Whispering Manor.